All right, good evening, everyone. I'd like to call our regular meeting work session of September 16th, 2020 to order. First item on the agenda is accept or modify the agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the agenda as presented.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Consent agenda. Do I have a motion for that?
I move that we accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. First item in our work session is student membership update. Dr. Bauer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
I will. read that here. And these are hall presses, so Miss Henry was just finishing these up to get these to us tonight, so.
Yep.
So when we look at our membership on the first day of school, we were sitting at 4,559 students. And if you look at this, this spreadsheet that I gave you, that will be if you look at the top, it'll say first day 2021 up there. That's the number down at the bottom of the students that were in school that we had in place. Now compare that to what we had last year. We were down 574 students. When you look at the number of students that were reported first day of school this year compared to last school year. So now over the last week, we have found all but 60 of those students that were on roll. So when you look at the number of no-shows on the 7th day, we've dwindled that number down to 60 students. And so when you look at where we're standing today at 4,957 students, our budget was built upon 5,202, 5202. And so that difference, when you look at the number of students to where the budget was planned to be, if you take our current number of 4,957 students and you look at where we would be financially with a reduction, that would be 1.178 million as far as when you look at the number of students that have been reduced from last year or that we were expecting for budget for this year. Now, if we find our other 60 students that are no-shows, and again, this is all, you can have more students come in throughout the year and those numbers increase. But if we're able to find those students that are in our system and that we know are out there, that we just have to make contact and get them in, or that would increase our student population to 5,017, which would then be a reduction of 916,886. Now, in the budget this year, we had a contingency of around 531,366. So right now, we are looking at, what we need to do as far as financially, and we have a lot of things on hold, and we're going to look at things, but still try to find those students. But I wanted to give you an update of where we are with our current student population. As far as the update of students that were in Warren County Public Schools last year that have moved to the home instruction, that number now sits at 89 students. So, those 89 students right now, we do not have on our rolls. Now, of course, a lot of times when we talk to those families, they say, we'll come back when school opens up. But, we don't know when that may be. So it could be that, if we're able to open up early, then we could get some of those students back. Or if we have to ride this out for the full year, we may not be able to gain those students back. But we do have a large number that has jumped from going to Warren County to home instruction. So, and that's not included in that 60 right there.
So these are students that their parents are doing their own curriculum, they're not taking advantage of our virtual
Yes, ma'am.
education. Okay.
And when they would call, we did our due diligence, so sometimes Miss Henry would make a phone call, or Mr. Fox or Miss Rudisil, and then we would always contact the principal, and the principal would also make contact with the family, and to tell them about, yes, you can still do the virtual option for us and still keep your children at home, but they still just wanted to go with doing their own virtual learning, and so they are not in the system, and they're choosing to pay for their curriculum to teach their children this year.
Do they need to request
Release.
yes, from compulsory attendance? Do they need to?
Now,
say-
not when they're doing the home instruction. That's, with the home instruction, they still have to follow the guidelines of set in code
Okay.
that they go into home instruction, and they have to provide documentation at the end of the year to show that they have made growth.
Okay.
So typically when you see those are for your religious exemptions, that they're going on the religious exemption side from the compulsory school attendance.
No way of knowing of that 60, whether part of them are virtual or we're physically gonna come to school.
And that's, again, when we look at this, if you can look at, for instance, Skyline High School shows 18.
Right.
Now, those may be students that didn't show up last week and they haven't had any contact, but Skyline's not going to really have students again in person until tomorrow and Friday.
Right.
So last week, when we looked at this number, for instance, we had,
70.
I'm
shows first day.
yeah, and I'm going to use Warren County High School for the example.
Oh, yeah.
On the first day, they had 178 no-shows, and now they've dwindled that down to 90. Yesterday, when we look at Warren County High School, they were still sitting around 70 students. But they had their 2 in-person days, Monday and Tuesday. So we're hoping that as Skyline comes in tomorrow, we may be able to find some more of those students that didn't show up that first week, but
Right.
now they're going to be there for that in-person day. And principals and schools are calling and making contact with the students that have not shown up yet to determine where we're at. For example, one of the students at Skyline Middle School, I believe, or maybe it's Warren County Middle School, in the system, it was showing that they should have been at Warren County Middle School, but they actually were a freshman. And so it was showing up as a no-show, and so then we had to, make that transition there. So,
So if a child, Dr. Ballinger, didn't log on for the first couple of weeks, that would be a no contact, correct?
That's correct, yes,
Because-
sir.
Okay, so we could have some of those, and Dr. Smith, have you had any of those? That they just hadn't logged on because, or whatever?
If they haven't logged on, we've called them.
Okay.
So if they're a no-show, that means we have not been able
You
to
can't
find them.
contact at
Right,
all.
right.
Okay. I figured as much, right?
and so
Thank you.
And so now what we're going to do is we'll start turning these over to our truant officers to go out and to make contact. And I know a lot of our principals have been going out, making home visits and just to make contact with those students to see where they're at and, to let them know
That's good.
we're in session. And so we're doing our due diligence to try to find every student that was on our rolls last year and that we had. And so
Okay.
we want to continue to work on that. But I just wanted to give you that update as far as where we were, as far as our student enrollment as of today. And of course, our big day will be September 30th. So that's our day that's going to go in the books. And a little caveat to the superintendent's meeting that I had with Dr. Lane on Tuesday. The legislature, there was a bill pushed to hold schools harmless on ADM as far as for the reduction of students' loss. That did fail at this point in time, but, in that meeting, Dr. Lane's, he mentioned, he said, we need to wait to see really what the total impact is before the next legislative session. He said, so, we could expect that may be something that the governor looks at and they do at the next legislative session to address and to hold schools harmless. And so if they look at holding schools harmless, they have always gone back to the previous year's ADM. And for us, that would be at 5203 is what we ended the year with. I believe is correct.
I think that's correct.
Yeah, so that would basically hold us harmless and put us to where we had been planned for, so for this year budget-wise.
Okay, fair enough, thank you. Any questions for Dr. Bowman? Okay, thank you, Dr. Bowman. Next is an update on start of the school. Dr. Bowman.
All right, so, I will tell you, the first day of school, at some elementary schools, it was a little longer line getting parents through. We had some backups, we had some traffic congestion on some roads, but it was that first day of getting everybody in and just being able to make sure we got them to where they're going and getting the buses in and then getting the buses sanitized so they could go do their next run. But I tell you, when you entered the buildings and you saw the interaction of the teachers and the students, and even though those students had on their face coverings, you know, and those teachers would run up and just be talking to them, and the excitement there, that you know, you could see those students smiling and, you know, underneath their mask, and so it was a good start. You know, we have had some challenges, as you guys are aware. I know the first day we had some, you know, with our technology issues with the SIPA filter and everything trying to go through it, and then it jammed full of data and information, and Tim had to free it all up where everybody could get on. And his team did a really good job on really taking care of that real quick. And so it freed up that space, I guess you could say, for people to interact. And so, you know, but it was great seeing those students and teachers in the buildings, and it was nice, and just a lot of, it was good. You could tell it was really nice for them to be there, for those students. They wanted to be there. And yes, with our difficulties, we would still, you know, I would say we've had a good 2 weeks being the situation that we're in with this pandemic. And so, yes, as we went through our challenges last week, and even on the first day and into last week, and we've corrected a lot of things and made a lot of different changes so that we could streamline some things. Now our bus lines, students, you know, those car riders are coming in, they're getting it done in, you know, 15 to 20 minutes. You know, the buses are getting there on time, and transportation's done a great job with getting the students there. And so now schools are, you know, they're getting that cycle going, because I think at Ressy's the first day the line backed all the way up from the entrance all the way down to the transportation building on the highway. So, but now they're getting that through, and at the end of the day, you know, we're able to get those students out, and, you know, so we're moving in some positive directions, but we still have some issues that we need to address, and we'll continue to address those. But what I also wanted to do at this point in time is just bring in our department heads to talk about various areas and things they're doing. I know, and I want to give Mr. Grant and his team a round of applause. That crew has been answering a lot of phone calls. That crew Tim is going out to homes. He's making home visits to help with technology issues. And I think the other day he actually met somebody up here in the office, Dad, and Tim was working on the computer right there at the receptionist desk. So, good. But you know, it's been challenging, but you know, that group has done a great job. And so, Tim, do you want to speak a little bit now on the technology side?
Absolutely. So Chromebooks, we are expecting about 2,223 Chromebooks and Chrome tablets to be arriving any day now. The report was that they would arrive the third week of September, and we are in the middle of that week right now. So we're waiting on them anxiously. As soon as they come out, we'll get those deployed and out to the schools that need them. Right now, the home visit, the schools where kids are at home, those all have Chromebooks. From what I understand, it's just the blended ones in the elementary schools. They don't all have Chromebooks yet. To also help defend all of that, we have parts that have just recently come in, so we're repairing some of the Chromebooks that had some problems, so we're able to get those fixed quickly and sent out to add to the stock of Chromebooks. As Dr. Ballinger mentioned earlier, we did have a little filter issue. It was bringing all the traffic came in, so we had 5,400 students log in, and it all came through our network. So it got a little laggy for about an hour, and then we were able to get the whitelisted things out to the internet where it belongs, and then the things that were not whitelisted or needed to be checked came through our filter. So that's all fixed. Help desk has been very busy. I can't tell you how many calls we get, but we get a lot. It's ringing all the time. All of our techs are on that help desk until it sort of settles down. But so we have 6 techs that are just picking up the phone and answering, including myself and including Doug Stefnoski, who's our instructional technology coordinator as well. He's picking up. We also have an email which sends an email to all of us. It's just helpdesk@wcps.k12.va.us, and that's set like a work order system for us, so that it's not going just one person. It's going to the whole team. It's going to the TICs as well, because there seems to be a lot of questions about how to get on Canvas and how to get on Schoology and how to do certain things. So those people are helpful in the instructional sense. Hotspots seem to be working well. I've had one parent said it wasn't working for them. We came and swapped it out, and then I haven't heard from her. Usually that's good news. And so we had 60 out, and almost all of them are taken. And we have 30 more sitting in my office right now waiting to be configured tonight. And then those will go out to the teachers. They are, you can tell definitely, they are, it's regional. You see a lot of the people on this end of the county with Browntown and the Bentonville, they're needing the hotspots a lot more than we see like in town and other parts of the county. Training, we're doing training on Wednesdays, every Wednesday. And we're getting more, before we did like training in a broad sense, and now we're doing training individually and meeting with teachers and making sure that they get their individual needs taken care of. As far as security goes, we just continue to stay on top of it, and try to stay ahead of the curve. We have had no breaches or anything like that where anybody's gotten any of our information so we're good with that. We just keep updating and keep checking out to see how everything is going. And then as far as, there have been some issues nationally with Google. We just got a report this afternoon from Google, and they said they have fixed and repaired all those problems. It was slowing down the drive, which is where they keep their documents and their homework and all that stuff. So that is up to date. And hopefully I didn't forget anything, but if I did, please, if you have any questions, I'll take them.
No questions, Mr. Grant, just one comment. I know I texted with you at 8-something one night, and I'm impressed. You answered back, and the problem was resolved in less than 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So I know you've worked a lot of hours, and I think I can speak for the board. We all greatly appreciate the effort you and your team put in to keep everybody up and running. So thank you very much.
Absolutely.
And one thing, I know Tim was looking at it, Mr. Rinaldi had called me the other day saying that his community was, their community center, he was wanting to set that up as a location for students within that area, that community could come and use the internet there. And I know Tim looked at that and.
So we could set up a hotspot router. What it is, it's not like not like a cell phone hotspot, which is what we've been giving out, but this is a high extended range antenna on this router. And then what we could do is just set it, just like we have the hotspots where the Chromebooks connect automatically to it. There's no settings or anything you have to mess with. And then that. We can set that up pretty quickly. We just need to get permission from the building that we can use their electricity and then let us attach a device on the outside of the building. So
We have a person there between 10 and 2 on Thursdays, and I've already told her that the school system may be coming in there to do something. So we're ready to go and cooperate any way you want us to.
okay.
No problem.
Thank you, Ralph. I mean,
Well, you're welcome.
We appreciate that.
We even talked about opening up the building if a couple kids wanted to use the patio in the back is enclosed with a roof. It's open on the sides. And they can use that if a parent was going to run an errand, the kid could go down there, whatever. If you want to use more kids, you open it up to more kids inside. Supervision might be an issue, but we'll give whoever's going to supervise the access code to get in the building, and they can close it up when they leave. So, however we can do it to help the kids in that area.
All right, greatly appreciate it.
We're ready to go.
Ms. Shepherd, would you like to speak on transportation and child nutrition?
Certainly, and I'm like custodial to that as well. So our transportation is going well. We added a staff shuttle in the afternoons so that our students of our staff people can get back to where they need to go, so our staff people can leave at right after their work is done. But we are transporting elementary kids on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. We are transporting Warren County Middle School and Warren County High School students on Monday and Tuesday, Skyline Middle School and Skyline High School students on Thursday and Friday, and Blue Ridge Tech Center students on Wednesday. And then also on Wednesday, we started this today, our food service group is we're delivering food to the communities in which we delivered them to in the spring and over the summer. So that started today, and I'll get into that a little more when I talk about food service. But it is good news. We are sanitizing the buses between the elementary and the middle school runs so that all of our students who get on the bus at the second run, the bus has been sanitized before they get on the bus. So for food service, starting today, delivery, we are delivering food at all of our stops that we did over the summer, which included like 13 locations, and then our van went to some motels and hotels around the community. And today we served right at 850 students, 11,804 meals just today between 8 and 11. So we're able to serve 7 days of meals, so that's breakfast and lunch. For 7 days for all of our students, any child under the age of 18. So even if there are children who are age 3 or age 4 that are not in our school system, they're still able to go to those points and pick up food. And then when kids come into the school, we found out the week that before school started that meals are no charge. So all of our students are receiving breakfast and lunch at no charge. So if our elementary kids are there Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, they can get breakfast and lunch every day that they're there for no charge, which is fantastic. And we're glad we're able to do that, and we're able to do that through at least December the 31st. We hope that extends, but right now it's December 31st. So. We have added a pickup at Warren County Middle School and Skyline high school from 4 to 6 p.m. in the evening, so that those parents who are working can pick up meals for their students on, so this evening from 4 to 6, they're able to pick up 7 meals for their kids who are in school. So we tried to cater as well to those parents who are working and, are not home during the morning to pick up those meals. So hopefully we'll know tomorrow how it goes, because today is the first day that we've done it. And we'll adjust if we need to. If we find out that, we still have parents who aren't able to pick up meals, maybe we'll extend that to 7 o'clock. We're just trying to make sure that all of our kids are eating and are well fed. And as far as custodial is going, we are deep cleaning every Wednesday, but we've also added some additional deep cleaning cycles. So for example, the kids at Warren County High School are there. There's a group of kids there on Monday and there's a group of kids there on Tuesday. So we're deep cleaning at Warren County High School between Monday and Tuesday, and we're also deep cleaning on Wednesday so that we make sure that those buildings are sanitized for our kids when they enter. We have restructured our custodial staff, so we have more custodial staff there during the day so that they are wiping down high-touch surfaces, so doorknobs, flat surfaces, door facings, so that anywhere that kids are likely to touch, we have custodians going around and wiping those with sanitizing cloths throughout the day so that we can keep the school as sanitary as possible. So be happy to answer any questions about custodial, food service, or transportation.
Are the buses making those runs and dropping off the food like they did in the summertime, or do you have cars?
Yeah, they are. The buses are doing it. So our bus drivers are, so October is Bus Drivers Month, School Transportation Month, so we really want to make sure that we celebrate our bus drivers, because I tell you, last quarter of last year and over the summer, they were our heroes, because they really came together and delivered our meals to those many locations over the summer, and they're doing it again. So they are great people. They are working very hard to do that, but our bus drivers are delivering those meals on Wednesday, and we have a van that's delivering to some of the other locations that a bus probably shouldn't go. Yeah.
Not a question, just a comment, Ms. Shepard. Thank you for the way you adjust and your group adjust. I mean, delivering food in the evening time now. I mean, you always seem to find the right way to get to where we need to be, and we greatly appreciate that.
It's a great group of people. We have great directors in our custodial, our facilities, and our food service. So, it's their hard work that makes all this work. Yeah.
With your direction.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much.
And as far as health updates, we receive health updates daily as far as, if there's any illnesses or anything. And what we're finding is that parents are doing a really good job that going through those lists and checking off to see if their children are taking temperatures, and if they have something, they're not sending them. And so, that's great, because when we see that, we may have a child here, a child there, and the reason is that parent called with fever, they're not sending them. And that's, that will allow us to keep our doors open longer, as long as we get the help from our community and from our parents to make sure that we are able to manage this. And so, we have had a couple of instances where, students would be coming to school and, a temperature was taken and there was a temperature, and, we gave the information to the family at that time, and they took their child home. So, the checks and the system that we have in place is doing a great job. And Mr. Hirsch, do you want to share a little bit more on that as far as what's going on there?
Yeah, Dr. Ballinger covered it very well. It's without the families and staff pre-screening and going through the checklist to make sure they're healthy before entering school has been crucial. But our nurses and our building administrators and all of our staff have been working very closely to keep the numbers of students that have been sick to a very, very low number, or to a minimum. And I think our staff have been brave, our staff have been courageous, our staff have been working hard, and so have our families. And we just thank them, and we are doing very well.
I know right now, a couple children had strep, not necessarily went to Warren County school system. So it's that time of the year, you know, those things are gonna start, and the flu and all that good stuff. So I guess it's really good that the parents now are shooting their temperatures every morning. They know before the child might not feel bad, so it helps any of those other things coming into the school. And I think it should be successful for all of us. So it's good to hear everybody's working together well. That's really good.
Mr. Williams, we do have flu clinics coming into all of our schools for staff.
Okay.
They'll be coming in the next couple of weeks, and they'll be giving flu shots for all staff members that want
That's
them.
good. That's good.
So if a child shows up to school and has a fever and they go home, are they able to get onto the computer or their Chromebooks and be educated virtually? Are the parents of the students that have opted to be in the schools, have they been trained on how to set that up?
And so they're, you know, if it's a middle and a high school student, they should probably have those, and so the answer would be yes. Now, when you get to your elementary students, we do have some reserved in the offices for those students that if they are ill right now, we do give them one, and they kind of get a, you know, we give them a crash course, and I hate to say it in that manner, but right now the teacher has not been able to go through it with that parent and that student because the devices aren't in. And so we have to go over the training on how to get on and to do it. But we do have some devices at the principal's office at the elementary level to where those students that are sick, then yes, we give them a device to be able to log on and to go through it. So it's not that we just drop everything for them. We do have those devices, and I know they're limited. I mean, you know, I don't know how many each school may have, but I know that we do have those devices there.
Are the lessons recorded? I mean, I know the kids have to log in, so you know that they're attending, but if they have to leave for a particular reason, are the lessons recorded so they can go back later and?
Yes, ma'am. So the process is that, you know, we ask our teachers to give depending upon the age level, you know, if it's an elementary, it could be between 10 to 20 minutes of instruction, and that be recorded and then put on the LMS later on for those families to go back and to be able to access that recording. And then we ask them just to make themselves available, and that could be, you know, either through email or through phone or maybe logging back onto the link later on to see if students need assistance. So then they are available. But they have the ability, yes, to see that recorded lesson. And some teachers are, you know, they're also doing some pre-lesson and doing a pre-recording, and they're putting it on there. And they're also recording their lesson, and then they're putting that on there as well. So, you know, some teachers are making sure that there's a lot of recorded lessons or instruction for families to access.
That's great, thank you.
And really, that's kind of, to sum it up, really where we've been the first few days of school here. At the next board meeting, I'm going to invite principals and some students to come in and to give a little their interpretation of how school has been since, I guess, for the first month, or so we'll hear from them at our next board meeting, and other than that, that's all I have, sir.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Ballinger. Seeing nothing else before this board. Anybody have anything? No? Meeting adjourned.